Let's dive into this box, let you guys take a look at what all comes inside. Really nice manufacturing and shipping as far as the box goes. You've got a magnetic lid right here, which is really nice. You're starting to see that in a lot of the higher end scope manufacturers. Doesn't say a whole lot, but it does say that they take enough time to care about how you are actually getting your product, which is really nice, and I take value in that. So just like the other 1 to 4 power G3, you have a glare hider that you can put on the very front of this scope, which is really nice to add. You know, if you're a predator hunter, I know you see some predator hunters that have this feature on their scopes, which is real nice. Again, I'm not a huge fan of putting it on my scope, but again, some of you guys that are into that type stuff, it comes with that. You do not have to buy that as an aftermarket accessory, which is nice. The other good thing, which I keep harping on this with Monstrum Tactical, is with this scope, you're actually going to get these scope rings that come with this scope, which is super nice. Now the thing about it is, depending on what type of rifle you're going to be putting this scope on, you may want to purchase different scope rings. Even though this comes with it, these are going to be a high style scope ring. So it's made to go on an AR-15, AR-10 style platform rifle, where you need that scope to stick up a little bit higher than what you would on, say, a bolt action rifle. Now you can get away using these on a bolt action rifle. It just depends on, you know, how tall your comb is. Maybe the comb at your stock is a little bit taller, and you need your eye elevation to set up higher, then these scope rings may work out absolutely perfect for you. So just keep that in mind. I would suggest not buying new scope rings until you actually get the scope and you take these out and you look to see how this scope is going to set on your rifle with these rings, and then make that decision after the fact if you want to purchase aftermarket rings, or possibly purchase some lower rings from Monstrum as well. They also, like I said, they also manufacture a bunch of different parts, so if you're looking for lower rings, they manufacture them, so you can keep it all under the same umbrella of Monstrum equipment. So glare protection and your scope rings there, which is super nice. Let's break into the bread and butter of what we got right here. So again, you're going to see that really nice flat dark earth color, which is super nice. It is a true flat dark earth color. I know you guys are probably gonna get tired of hearing me say that, but that's a big deal to me. When you say that it is a flat dark earth, I really want it to be flat in color. It means there's not a lot of shine. It is a flat paint, and it looks good. It's a good quality brown. It's going to blend in real well in the woods, and it's going to blend in really well with your other tactical flat dark earth gear that you may have. So again, you're going to notice on the scope that it comes with your lens protectors already on the scope, which is a very nice feature. I know a lot of scopes that you have to buy on the market now do not come standard with that installed. You have to buy that as an aftermarket accessory through Butler Creek or some other manufacturer. So super nice. One nice thing that I want to point out on this scope, just kind of offhand, is your parallax adjustment over here on the side, which is really nice. So with it being a 3 to 18 power scope, you really want to be able to dial in that scope and make sure that them crosshairs and your target are crystal clear when you're looking through it. So it's nice to have that over here on the side. I have seen some budget long range scopes have the parallax adjustment out here on the very front, where you have to reach out and twist it. I absolutely hate that. That is one of the worst design flaws, in my personal opinion, you can have for a scope. But it works for some people. I just don't personally like it. I like my parallax adjustment to be right here on the side, where I can look up, see it, and get to it relatively easy without having to come off target or off scope. You also are going to have an illuminated reticle out of this thing, which is really nice, especially if you're going to take this gun and use it kind of across the board as a hunting scope, as well as a long range, maybe target practice scope. If you get into those low light situations where really and truly, if you're training for long range shooting, or you're training for those situational type shots, you know, being able to turn on a illuminated reticle is something that is really good to train with and to have in the field if you are in a low light situation. So comes with a battery. It has 11 different power modes as far as your brightness, so you can adjust it from 1 being the dimmest all the way to 11 being the brightest. So it's really nice that they give you 11 different settings, obviously depending on the light at the light when you're shooting. Depends on how bright or how dim you really want that illuminated reticle to be. So again, 3 power all the way to 18 power. Now the one negative that I do have about this scope in comparison to the 1x4 that I did or reviewed in my previous video is how difficult it is to actually dial in. Now I have felt some scopes that are way tougher than what this is right here. For example, an Athlon optic scope that I reviewed not too long ago that's on their budget-oriented side of things was extremely difficult to twist. Now, the good thing about this Monstrum Tactical is they give you that boat paddle looking grip, so it's really nice to reach up there and grab a hold of that to dial it in. So it does give you a little bit of leverage, so it makes it feel a little bit easier. And I think this is one of those scopes where the more you use it, the more you work it, and the more that you go from 3 all the way to 18, I think the looser it's going to get and the more broken in it's going to feel as well. So that's a really, really nice feature for them to have, that big paddle to help dial that in exactly how you want. Obviously on some of these longer range scopes, you know, depending on your shooting situation, you know, I could see you having to go all the way from 3 to 18. For the most part, if you're going to be in the field hunting or, you know, potentially chasing a deer or whatever the case may be, you're going to have that scope set anywhere from, you know, 6 to 9 power, and you may only have to adjust it down to like a 15 power or something like that. So you're not really moving it that far of an increment. You're only moving it a couple, maybe an inch or so, and that's really all you've got to worry about moving. So it is good that if you're carrying it into the backwoods or you're carrying it up a deer stand, whatever the case may be, you're not going to bump that thing and make it go all the way back down to 3 power without knowing it until you get up on a deer. So there is a little bit of positive to it. I just would like it to be a little bit looser. Like I said, that's something that I could probably work out just by moving it back and forth and breaking it in essentially. Another good thing about this scope is you do have the adjustable exposed windage and elevation turrets. The good thing is these are the locking turrets. So again, you're seeing here that they're all locked. Whenever you're ready to make your adjustment up, you take this turret and you pull it up, and then you're able to make your adjustments there. The good thing about this one in comparison to the 1x4, and I don't know if it's just the particular scopes, these clicks seem to be a little more audible than the 1-to-4 power was. The 1-to-4 power seemed to be not quite as loud. And the good thing about this is if you're only having to make a very small adjustment, you can actually, you know, reach up, pull this turret up and count your clicks without having to actually look up on the scope. You know, okay, well I need to go 4 clicks up or 6 clicks up or 10 clicks minus 2. It's very easy to do that without coming off the scope and potentially losing whatever deer you're getting ready to shoot at, or whatever target you're getting ready to shoot at if you're in a competition style of shoot. So really nice. I will say that the quality on this scope is exactly like the 1x4 that I reviewed last time. It's not going to feel cheap. It's actually a fairly heavy scope for the most part, so it feels like a very expensive you know, $400 to $500 scope. Super excited to have this here and actually have it to test out on some stuff. I think I'm actually going to be putting this scope on an AR-10 platform. So I'm excited to see how it performs at the range. Don't know if I'm going to be doing a whole lot of hunting with this scope. I don't know. I don't really have a gun set up yet for deer hunting to put this scope directly on, even though the reticle itself is a really nice reticle, because with it being a first focal plane scope, that reticle gets bigger as you dial it in. So in those low light situations, whenever you dial the scope in, it's actually going to make it easier to find that larger reticle in low light conditions, on top of the fact that you have the illuminated reticle to back it as well. So in a hunting situation, this scope right here may be one of the scopes that I try to go to in the near future. Like I said, I want to put it on a target practice gun and really get some range time with it, to see how it holds up, to see how it functions, to make sure it tracks well and to make sure that it works good. But the overall initial quality of everything is really, really nice.